Okay, so this is going to be my first vlog. Not done one of those before. Um, and I just have a topic that I want to talk about that, um, I didn't feel like I could do justice writing about. And also, my brother-in-law said that I need to hit more audience, and people like vlogs better than blogs. So I felt like, why not? It's a topic that I feel like I discuss a lot. It has to do with depression and suicide ideation. So I guess I'll start by saying I had an interesting experience happen to me today. My friend did the absolute right thing that you're supposed to do when somebody is confiding in you that they're having suicidal thoughts or suicidal ideation, and she alerted, somebody in a supervisory capacity, and they then alerted, suicide prevention officers. They came to talk to me at work and make sure that I was not at a point where I felt like harming myself. And I know that she feels horrible because she didn't think that that would happen. She is not, it's not her world, so she's not aware of the suicide prevention protocol. And even though I am fine and I do not have intentions of harming myself, I was confiding in her that I was having suicidal thoughts and that I was really struggling. And so she did the absolute right thing. And as embarrassing as it may feel, or as much as I would have preferred to not have to do that, to not have to discuss that with somebody else. Those people are trained to be able to read into more than your body language. They're trained to know when it's a really drastic situation, when they might have to, evaluate you a little bit further. So they did their job. They came and asked me the questions, made sure that I wasn't planning on harming myself, which I'm not. But here's the reality. Depression is something that has been long in my family. I have experience with it from being at a very young age. My mother struggled with depression. I've struggled. My sister struggled. It goes far through our family, and lucky for my children, of course, you've been, privy to some of Hope's journey through that. So I'm very well versed in my resources. I know my resources. I always have them handy. We have suicide prevention line around our home. I have the numbers in my phone. I have the number to text, and I will share that. I will put that in the post when I put it up, because everybody should have those things. Whether suicide is something that affects you or affects a friend or a family member, you should always be able to have those numbers and that information ready to hand out, because it is a very serious thing. And the truth is that nobody is immune from depression. Nobody is, you can't, prevent that kind of thing from happening. And, I know there are plenty of people out there who might say, some people have it worse. People don't understand. Depression isn't about me sitting and thinking, poor me, my life is so hard. Depression is about, my life feels hard right now, and I am struggling to cope with the difficulties. And this is the thing that people misunderstand. Pain is not a competition. you can't compete against someone's pain. I think that people are very quick to say it could be so much worse. You know what? Right. It could be so much worse, but my heart is my heart and my struggles are my struggles. And when you tell somebody it could be worse, you really invalidate the struggle that they're going through. Everybody has a struggle. Everybody's hard is different, but everybody's hard is valid. Everybody's hard matters. And I am beyond blessed to have the knowledge of my resources that I do. I'm beyond blessed to have a group of people who check on me, who care enough about me to make sure that I'm doing okay. But the truth is, I do struggle with depression. I do struggle a little bit more recently with suicide ideation. I am very familiar with the symptoms, with the signs to watch for. And so I try and keep on myself. But the reality is that sometimes I don't feel like I can continue to cope. Sometimes I feel like I don't know where is my ending point. When am I going to be tired of fighting the fight? I have 3 beautiful children that I know I'm fighting for. I have, some struggles in my life. I really do. I feel a little lost. I feel, my world got turned upside down. And, some things have happened. And just so we're clear, no one person or situation can make somebody suicidal. Depression is there. It's lingering, whether you have a chemical imbalance or whatever it might be. The main point that I really want to get across to everyone is that, depression it is something that people don't ask for. It's not dependent on your circumstances. I wouldn't be potentially less depressed if one thing didn't happen to me, or more depressed if another thing did. I do have that feeling of hopelessness from time to time, which goes along with depression and suicide ideation. But again, I know my resources and I will utilize them as I need to. It's unfortunate that it is always a possibility when you're struggling with depression or suicide ideation that you will hit that point where you feel like the pain is not worth the struggle. I mean, we have seen a lot of people go due to that. And so I just want to reassure my friends and family that I am fighting the good fight. And I want to make my struggle public because I know that I can't be the only one. And I want my friends to know that I know that you are here for me and I know I can reach out to you. I really do. And for anybody who was involved in, getting those resources out with the suicide prevention today at my work, please know that I know that you have my best interest, and that I am, of course, a little embarrassed because there's a stigma around depression and suicide, and while I would prefer to not have that known, I hear you loud and clear that I am not alone, and that I have people I can count on when the struggle gets to feel like it's too much. And I do know that. And I appreciate everybody who has made that known to me. And I won't forget it. I will use my resources, even if it feels like I can't. I will do the thing that I would need to do, whether that comes down to being institutionalized for a period of time, so that I can get me right. I will take that step. I don't feel like I'm there yet, but I will do what I need to do to make sure I stay on this planet, because I know that I have 3 people at least that depend on me to do so. So thanks everybody for listening. I'm sure I rambled a whole lot and maybe it doesn't make sense. Maybe you don't care about this, but there are a lot of people who struggle with depression, and it's definitely stigmatized. And I just want anybody that's struggling with it, that sees this, to know you are not alone. You do have resources, and that, it's not something that you're asking for. It's not something that you're doing intentionally. You're not a burden. To be depressed, it is something that a lot of people struggle with, and we need to make sure that it's well known that that struggle is okay. And there are people who care for you, and there are resources put in place to make sure that you continue your life, because you are meant to be here. Every single life has value. Every person is redeemable. 100%. Every person has value. Please always remember that. Even when you have to just fake it till you make it, remember, every person has value. Thanks, and have a good day. Bye.